Hey, good morning, everyone. Vega here for SerpentX Tech. Welcome back to another episode of Caffeine and Crypto, where I welcome you to join me with your favorite beverage of caffeine, coffee, energy drink, tea, whatever you got. If you don't like caffeine, grab some damn water as we go over, well, this week's news. As you can see, Bitcoin sitting around 68.4, Ethereum still below 2K, BNB below 630, XRP about $1.44, and Solana under 100 at $86. So we got some green, but it's only the short-term green as my frames drop. Let's give it a boost. Let's see what happens. This router's going to shit, boys. Ladies and gents, this router's going to shit. Lightning strike is taking its toll on the router. Let's see here. Bear with me. Trying to stabilize right now on the stream. But yeah. Market's meh still. It's been meh for a while. All right, stream is stabilizing a little bit. Connected to the Wi-Fi and the Ethernet. Got good speeds, but this router is just not loving it. It's slowly but surely just failing me. The lightning strike is just, it's not happy. You can see right now, I'm just gonna keep jamming. I don't care. Internet's being internet. We're kind of hitting resistance, right? So right around that 68.4, you know, we got above it. We hit it a couple of times before we got above it. It turned, you know, support over here. Turned support over here, fell back down, and now it's resistance. So like this struggle bus of an area that we're in, it's gonna take something. It's going to take something, a major investor, a whale, some very positive news, whatever it might be. Short was released yesterday about the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court's decision on Trump's tariffs. We did a little short or a video on that on the channel. If you haven't checked that out, long story short, they struck down Trump's tariffs, saying that he's overreaching. But, of course, that's not going to stop him, and you'll see in the article coming up in the future. But we're going to rock through this news. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please at me or send a super chat if you can afford to do so. But yeah, good morning to all of you. Retro Mike, Automatic Beats, Scroll Masters, thank you for all stopping by, and whoever shows up here in a minute. But Bitcoin shrugs off Trump's new tariffs, near 68K as altcoins lead modest bounce. It was a very modest bounce. What they're talking about is, despite the Supreme Court striking down the Trump's tariffs, he's talking about a 10% universal increase, or a 10% tariff on everything. You know, he just wants to say tariff. I think he just wants to say tariff. Okay, you know how like when you get a word stuck in your head, or like a song, and you just want to sing it the whole time, or just say it the whole time. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but every time he doesn't get his way, it's repetitive. It really is repetitive. The CoinDesk 20 index rose 2.5%. BNB, Doge, ADA, and Sol leading the gains. One trader said the prices will likely I think stick. But anyways, it's stuck in a range bound bearing, regardless of any macro shocks. And you can see that in the chart, because we've been sitting here for days. And even before that, you know, we've been sitting here for a minute. It's like we drop and we sit. We drop and we sit. So it's going to take some significant investing, or whales, or news, or a combination of all three, to just push this thing through. But the day began with the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that DJT's global tariff rollout was illegal. The decision did not clarify what should happen to the tariff revenue already collected, and doesn't necessarily spell the end of Trump's trade agenda, with multiple legal and executive avenues still available, right? So they're going to continue to push that. And what's interesting to me, and I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, the Supreme Court, which is mostly pro-Trump, is the one who struck this down. So I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind. Again, don't care about politics. Don't give a shit about the left, the right, the up, the down, the green, the blue. Don't. It's irrelevant. All I'm here for is crypto. And every time something like DJT, Elon, a number of other people spout nonsense, or just try to push through some BS, and even if it's not some BS, they just keep repeating themselves over and over again, it doesn't have a positive effect on crypto. Okay, so like literally, if we go back in time, if we could erase anytime Trump said tariff, we probably would have been $150,000 Bitcoin by now. You got to think about that. We were climbing high. The economy was doing good. And the moment he started to say the word tariffs is when all of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt came in, right? Because manufacturers don't know what their metal's going to cost in the future, yada, yada, yada. We talked about this on the channel. So if we can eliminate that, we probably would be a $300 Solana, a $5,000 Ethereum, $150,000 Bitcoin. So shoulda, coulda, woulda, but didn't. Whatever. The fresh levy imposed on the top existing tariffs barely dented sentiment, so crypto didn't really care. Risk assets, including crypto, pushed modestly higher through the session. The broad market CoinDesk 20 index gained 2.5% over the past 24 hours, with BNB, Doge, ADA, and Solana outperforming 3 to 4% advances. Bitcoin was recently trading just below 68K. Now you can see that we are around 68.4. We'll be able to hold that. We'll see. We got to make it through the weekend. If we could get above 68, where's that line at? If we could get above, let's say 68, is that 8? Yeah, I would say 68.8. 68,800. We can get above that and maintain and like not fall back down. That'd be great. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 NASDAQ 100 climbed 0.9% and 0.7% among crypto-linked stocks. Exchange, Coinbase, Circle, MicroStrategy rose 2%. Bitcoin miners led the AI infrastructure build-out, outperformed, with Riot Platform, Cypher Mining, and TerraWolf falling about 3 to 6%. We've all seen a small rally for the risk assets post-tariffs news, as it leads into the narrative that tariffs are damaging for the macro environment, says Paul Howard. Still, conviction remains light that prices could break out to the upside from the current tight range. Volumes, however, remain muted, and we expect crypto to maintain a range-bound trading for the time being, barring any macro or geopolitical shocking news, situations, whatever it might be. So same shit, different day. We go scroll out and we look at the volume. which is missing because I deleted it off of the other chart for some reason. I don't know why I deleted that. Whatever. The volume's lacking. The volume's just lacking. It's very small. So if we can see some increased volume, would probably be good to add that to the chart later. But this article is saying that the tariffs will not rock crypto. As we can see, it kind of shrugged it off, as the previous article was saying. Same thing about the Supreme Court rebuking the tariffs. And while the markets have taken the decision in stride, the impact on crypto is likely to be modest, at least for now, as there is political consideration that may influence the industry's policy trajectory in Washington. Though Trump's aggressive and sometimes turbulent pursuit of tariffs under the International Energy Emergency Economic Powers Act is halted, the president has a number of other options to replace them with tariffs available in other legal authorities governing U.S. trade. He said at a Friday press conference after the deeply disappointing decision, there are methods, practices, and statutes and authorities, as recognized by the entire court in this terrible decision, that are even stronger than IEEPA tariffs available to me as President of the United States. Other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. And that's when he announced the 10% global tariffs. In the near term, anything that occupies policymakers in the coming weeks could threaten to steal some of the oxygen from the already dicey U.S. Senate timeline to get the crypto industry top goal accomplished: passage of the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act that would govern U.S. crypto market structure. Right, and that's very important. We want to get that passed. Sorry, guys, got some congestion or something. Allergies going nuts. Senator Bernie Moreno, Ohio Republican, staunch Trump supporter, and big crypto advocate, posted on social X, SCOTUS outrage ruling handcuffs our fight against unfair trade that devastate American workers for decades. I would like you to know that this statement right here is not 100% accurate. Some of the devastation and impact to some of those workers, especially because I got family in the Midwest, are being impacted by the same individual that's trying to make supposedly their lives better. But anyways, we know Elizabeth Warren, the ranking Democrat at Senate Banking Committee, celebrated the Supreme Court's 6-3 ruling, suggested that it left intact the harm already imposed by on consumers. Earlier this month, the Tax Foundation reported an estimate per household hit of $1,000 last year and $1,300 this year from the tariffs. Yeah, I mean, as we talked about, prices, like wages, have not gone up to match the increased cost of living. And I'm in Florida, and I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. Like guys, I can't even explain to you. I got family in South Florida, Miami. I can't explain to you how difficult it is for them to maintain their household. And they're working for a major company, a company that you guys eat their food every single day, or snacks every single day, like a major player. I'm pretty sure one of you have a bag right now, or a snack bag, or whatever. So if it's hard for them, I can't imagine people in California, New York, or whatever it might be, that well, maybe some people are living beyond their means. I understand that, but point is, and I don't care too much for Senator Elizabeth Warren, Chuck Schumer, any of those guys, because they you know, they're being cool right now, but they were assholes to the crypto industry for the longest time. You know, they put the Dread Pirate in jail because of Silk Road, and I understand why, but like, I think there would have been a better way to handle that instead of just throw him in jail for a long period of time. But they wanted to make an example. So they've always been enemies of crypto. My biggest concern after the Trump presidency, not that I want him to continue to be president. I would like to see a new regime, a little bit more positive outlook, willing to work with the world and not just say, hey, USA on top, fuck you guys. But like actually work with the rest of the world. Still try to maintain USA on top, but you know, be humble, be respectful, help thy neighbor type country like we used to be. But if he leaves, does that mean the Democrats are just going to go around and blanket ban everything? Like, just go around and I'm going to remove the Clarity Act. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove that. Oh, you got this tax break on this thing and that thing. Nope, we're going to take it away. Anything to do with blockchain and crypto. That's my biggest concern, is because I'm concerned that DJT, and this is just a personal opinion. Again, I don't care for the politics and I don't care for others' opinions. I respect your opinion, but I don't care for it. Is that he has no tact, no finesse. It's just pretty much I'm gonna be a brute force. Do it my way. If you don't like it, even if it's not the truth, I'm gonna repeat it. I'm gonna yell at you in your face until you accept it. Type persona. And because crypto was kind of like, oh, Trump's our president, and we all jumped on their back. And when I say we all, even though I and other people in crypto like yourself may not have voted for the individual, especially those in Canada, like they didn't even get a chance to vote. They didn't choose this, right? But they're feeling the repercussions of this. So the crypto industry supported Trump. Trump took that as a mantle, got a nice little kick in the votes and the polls from crypto. So when he leaves, or if the next president takes over, my concern is that we need to get these things locked in, Clarity Act and different rules and regulations, and get some of that legislation and you know, kind of guidelines in place before the next president. Because my concern is that they're going to rip it apart. They're going to tear it down. Bitcoin's a scam, blah, blah, blah. Even though they used blockchain for Bitcoin to kind of catch people, but whatever. I don't know. Those are just some of my concerns. That's pure speculation on my part. They might not even do that. The House and the Senate is more pro-crypto. I'm just concerned that just because Trump touched it, they're going to forcefully remove it or try to. Because that's basically what happened, right? Obama did something, Trump undid it. Biden did something, Trump undid it. You know, Biden undid some of Trump's things, but not all things. Can I just get a president that's kind of like, I don't know, man. It's tired of picking the lesser of two evils ever since I had the right to vote. But whatever. See, I said I wasn't going to get political, and here I am getting political. Oh, I hate politics. I fucking hate it. The refund process could be easy, but it appears more likely that more legislation and paperwork will be required, a particularly unfair burden for smaller imports that lack the resources to litigate tariff refund claims, yet never did anything wrong, according to a Friday statement from economists at the Libertarian think tank. By the way, you know, when you order miners and equipment, are you guys still getting hit? Like, I mean, everything is... You get the device, it might only cost $600, but then by the time you're done, it's like $800, $1,000. Are you guys still seeing that? And what did you order? I'm curious to know. Whether you're watching this live or later on, I'm curious to know. So, will his recent announcement impact what we're trying to do with the, you know, the act, the Clarity Act? The Digital Asset Market Clarity Act, you know, will that impact? We'll see. Congress yet to pass the market structure bill by summer. It's, I think, you know, industry policy efforts will depend on the outcome of the elections, especially if the shift in majority of the House of Representatives or in both. And again, like, if the upcoming elections and we get a shift in which side is more dominant, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter, and they're less pro-crypto, you know, that could stifle us, which is why I would like to get some of these rules and regulations locked in, but not have, just because it had anything to do with one side or the other, you're going to be a jerk and just remove it or try to strike it down. That's my biggest concern, but we'll see how things go. Bitcoin and Ether hold strong as Trump announces additional 10% tariffs. Again, third article, same shit. This is the biggest news for the week. It sucks. Everybody's repeating themselves. The market took it well. Long story short, the market took it well. We got the Clarity Act coming. We'll see how things go. Enough of this shit. Small investors are buying Bitcoin for the rally. For a rally to succeed, the whales will need to join it. This is true, right? If you and I are just dollar cost averaging and buying some Bitcoin, you know, whatever. it was, maintain in this range bound area. So we kind of need a big buy. Retro Mike, go ahead and drop a good bunch on there for us. I'm joking. Everybody's just saying hi to each other. Cool. Waking and Bacon. Who's Waking and Bacon? What? Squirrel Masters. Shame on you. Pass it. I'm joking. I don't smoke anymore. I used to back in the day. When I was younger, I used to. But don't forget, Wifey's a part of that, trying to help veterans and individuals and elderly dealing with, issues, cancer, pain management, tired of opiates, to get their medical marijuana card and help, relieve some of that instead of relying on opiates to get them through every single day. So I'm an avid supporter of medical marijuana or marijuana in general. But yeah, I don't partake anymore. So I hope you enjoy. Small investors, that's you, me, that's my mom, that's whatever. But the wallets themselves have increased their BTC holdings by 2.5% since October all-time high, while large holders trimmed 0.8%, sentiment data shows. Now, I'm not sure what side you're on, but I did trim a little bit just to help out with some things or bills or whatever. It's mostly shit coins that I've been trimming, right? Either converting it into Litecoin, converting it into Bitcoin, converting it into whatever. I know many, like I said before, many of us got out of Ethereum. I still have a very small fraction of Ethereum, but we'll see. Bitcoin wallets holding less than 0.1 Bitcoin have increased their share of supply to the highest since mid-2024, even as the price holds around the mid-60,000. Larger holders with 10 to 10,000 Bitcoins, the whales and sharks that typically drive major moves, have reduced their positions since October peak. The divergence supports choppy, fragile price action because retail demand alone cannot sustain rallies when the big wallets are distributing into every recovery, right? So like, say for example, you and I, we get together on Reddit, Wall Street Bets, whatever. We start to pump the market. We start to push it up. There's going to be some whale that's going to take the profits and it's going to put us right back down, and then we're going to have to start all over again. But we don't have the money to keep doing that. So that's where we need the other whales to come in and help out and dump some money into the overall market. For much of the month, Bitcoin has been trading around the mid-60Ks. This much is humdrum. The interesting bit is developing split in the coin ownership that could shape what happens next. Data from Sentiment shows that numbers of wallets holding less than 0.1 BTC at a level typically associated with retail investors has increased by 2.5% since the largest cryptocurrency hit a record high in October. The growth has pushed the so-called shrimp share of supply to its highest since mid-2024. And I think this chart here, can I open this in a new tab? Let's see here. So it says Bitcoin retail, not deterred, has now accumulated the highest amount in 20 months. And then it says Bitcoin, and then 10 to 10K versus 0.01 BTC wallets, percentage of supply held. So you can see the wallets in red with 0.01 BTC now own the highest percentage of Bitcoin supply. So there's a lot of small wallets out there. Now, some people have multiple wallets that they store whatever, like a little bit of Bitcoin in each, but you can see the whale wallets with 10 to 10K Bitcoin now own the lowest percentage of Bitcoin supply since May 2025. So that could be your banks, your MicroStrategies, your big investors, but the whales got out of it. Now, my question is, are they going to get back in, or are they going to wait till 100? We start to climb up to 100K to get back in. But either way, that's good. My only thing is that some of that data is going to be skewed because a lot of people have multiple wallets, right? And you should have multiple wallets too. If you don't, like spreading out your Bitcoin into the newer wallet types, Bitcoin wallet types, is very important. Don't leave your stuff on that legacy wallet types, as we talked about with the quantum threat, which is going to be an article that we're going to talk about because it was brought up during the Ethereum conference. Retail provides a floor and can spark a short-term momentum. Rallies that stick require bigger players who are prepared to buy whatever's on offer. Now, we do have tax season here in the U.S. coming up soon. So I'm willing to say, I can't guarantee, but I'm willing to say, you know, let's see where we're at right now. A lot of people are getting their tax returns at the end of this month, going into March, going into April, going into May. Majority is going to be between March and April. All right, the deadline for the U.S. is the 15th. So I think if we start to see, you know, the average individual, you know, they paid their bills, they paid their car note, they paid whatever, wants to buy some Bitcoin or crypto from Robinhood, which I prefer they use a wallet that gives them control, but whatever. But Robinhood, Cash App, Coinbase, Binance US, whatever you got, you know, we could see a slow climb up to 70K, 72, right? But it's really going to take the bigger wallets or who are getting tax breaks to really push us to the next level. So we could spark it, but we need somebody to help sustain it. And I know Michael Saylor, I think we just had an announcement that Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy just bought like a bunch more Bitcoin. So we'll see. But I'm glad that everybody's getting Bitcoin. It's not just about the whales and that's it, the banks, the institutions. Like, I'm glad that the average person is hopefully getting Bitcoin or having a percentage of Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Because that's what Bitcoin was designed for, is for the people. And yeah, so the number of wallet addresses, that's a good point, Retro Mike just says. So the number of wallet addresses that we were just looking at could also be UTXO chain. So every time they send, every time they send Bitcoin, they will send the charge to a fresh address. Do that several times, and it keeps compounding to the address account, right? So that could be just UTXO chain, right? Like just the other portion. So that's skewed. That number is going to be skewed because people have multiple wallets, the UTXO, whatever. But maybe 75% of that is actual individuals. You know, your mom, your pop, your uncles, the store owner. Because I remember, you know, going to my pharmacy, my pharmacist was talking about, hey, I have, you know, some Bitcoin. What other assets or crypto are you into? Stuff like that. Like, I love those conversations. And good morning. Lakeland, Florida. Nice. I'm in Jacksonville. But yeah. Glassnode's accumulation trend score climbed to 0.68, the strongest broad base reading since November, as CoinDesk reported earlier this month. During the flash, the 10 to 100 Bitcoin cohort was the most aggressive dip buyer, and the data suggested that the market was shifting from capitulation to something more synchronized. So was that the dip, right? So this dip all the way down to 60K, almost 59 at some exchanges. Was that it? Right here. Let me zoom in for you. Right here. Do you think that was it? We're on the daily. We got a green dot. You can see that we're kind of chopping sideways, but sort of pushing up. I mean, technically on the short term, we're making higher highs. But was that it? You know, if we fell, this red line is where I'm suspecting. So that's basically 63, 64K. And if we fell below that, we now have another 62. But we fell past that twice over here. So are we done? Or is this bear rally going to continue? Let's look at gold real quick. Gold's doing pretty nice, right? It's down from its all-time high, but it's chopping sideways and up. While we've been chopping sideways and down, it's chopping sideways and up. You see that? Let's look at what else we got. S&P 500. We're kind of doing the same thing. Could that be because Bitcoin is being traded like a tech stock? Just thinking out loud. Well, obviously I'm not thinking out loud. I'm thinking in my head and you can't hear it. Sorry. Yeah, Tesla's down. So Bitcoin's kind of acting like a tech stock still. I don't like that. I don't like that. All the AI hype taking a lot of the wind out of Bitcoin sales. I don't think that's the end of Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin's done because there are some people saying that it's over. There are some people saying that. Just FYI, even some major crypto influencers. You'll see here in a minute. Bitcoin has failed. Crypto influencer questions the entire BTC thesis after 12 years, and you know this guy, Ron. I can't even say his last name. But they're saying that Bitcoin has failed its defining test as a store of value, questioning the entire thesis of the first time in 12 years after capital fled to gold instead of Bitcoin during the recent market stress. Guys, I know I said I hate politics and stuff like that. This is the individual. This is the crypto influencer. You guys know him. I can't say his freaking name. I always suck at it. Just crypto banter. There you go. Newer. I'm sorry, dude. Ron, I suck at saying your name. You never really gave me a full conversation anyways, but it doesn't matter. Why would people flock to gold instead of Bitcoin? Well, again, Trump was advocating for Bitcoin. So when Trump started doing tariff, and started brashly beating everybody down, trying to get them to the table to make some sort of trade deal, whether it was beneficial for them or us or nobody or all of us, I don't know, but that's what they ran from. The inconsistency, the instability of the unknowing, the can't tell which way he's going, unsure of what he's gonna do today, what he's gonna say today. There's a word for that. I can't even think of it right now. But he took Bitcoin on his back at Bitcoin Nashville. Everybody was bowdy. Some of them are now kicking themselves in the ass and wishing they didn't. Some of them are true believers and holding strong. More power to you. But yeah, I'm gonna go to gold. If you're gonna say that's the asset you're gonna support, I'm gonna go over here. Whatever you're touching, I'm gonna go the opposite way. But crypto banter, or part of crypto banter, because I don't think he's the only one there. He's got a large team now. Ron said that Bitcoin evolved from peer-to-peer cash into digital gold as the community fought for ETF approval and institutional access. When tariffs, currency tensions, and fiscal instability finally hit, this was supposed to be Bitcoin's moment to prove it was a store of value. And people did not do it. And you could say what I just said about why people ran to gold instead of Bitcoin just a second ago. Or you could say, what is your opinion? What is your opinion? Why would people run away from Bitcoin into gold during all this economic instability and uncertainty? Instead, capital ran to gold. Institutions had access. There were no barriers left. That's the uncomfortable part. So I understand what Ron's saying. I completely understand. Right? The narrative collapse matters because Bitcoin abandoned a peer-to-peer cash vision in 2017 when the community rejected the increasing block size. The market then shifted to a store of value narrative. Bitcoin as digital gold with limited supply, easily divisible, and better than the original. However, when fear actually arrived, investors proved they were not too scared to try the new digital store of value and ran for the old faithful gold instead. This revealed that Bitcoin isn't cash and didn't meaningfully absorb the stress bid during the crisis. The whole reason why Satoshi built this asset in 2008 was because of the 2008 financial crisis. And when a crisis came, everybody ran from it, even though it was intended for that. Why did that happen? I'll let you speculate. I'll let you think on that. I already gave you why, as far as my speculation, my theories, my tests. And I know that's going to piss off some people. I don't give a shit. Well, I do give a shit about pissing off you guys. But I don't, again, as far as the, like, if you come to my house for Thanksgiving and you're going to want to argue with me over politics, we're going to end the conversation. We're going to talk about something else. I'd rather argue over football, religion, if that's really what you're into, but I really don't like that either. Cars, girlfriends, wives, uncles, family members. Like, this year, I can't even say this year. Through the Trump era, I've never seen families so divided in my life. I never seen countries so divided in my life. I'll let that speak for itself. Ron pointed out that the earlier evangelists have largely excited retail participation sits at multi-year lows, and aggressive weekly buyers can't generate sustained momentum, right? So we got small spurts, right? We got small spurts, but it can't be sustained, right? People are constantly trading, and people are pissing me off because they're constantly trading with leverage, and they don't know how to trade with leverage, and then they get fucking liquidated, and they drop us like a damn rock because they're fucking idiots and using 100x leverage when they shouldn't. Sorry, that's another sore point for me today. I'm really heated today. I need to go relax. But I understand that we can't gain momentum. Every time we try to gain momentum, it's not large enough. It's not sustained enough, and somebody just starts to trickle. Right? This is the same thing that we saw, for example, when we launched Demo Cats, Coochie Coin, Cats of Crypto, Jellyfish Coin, any Solana ecosystem coin. Same shit we see every single time. The coin starts to run off because bots see, they try to snipe your liquidity. They see it's a new token, so they start flooding in. Then regular people start to see it, so they start flooding in. And you have an asset that climbs up. Now, it costs costly to do this. Maybe not now because I think Solana is around $83, but you need at least 10 Solana, not even including what you need to make the token. If you're interested in making your own token, I have a full guide on the channel. Check that out. But the point is it's not cheap to get started. And when you get started, people are trying to take advantage of that. And you start to climb up, and finally somebody's like, you know what? I think this is the top for that coin. It's fizzling out. The volume's diminished. People aren't flocking to it. The number of wallet holders are not increasing. Big ass sell, and that's a domino effect because now you got to sell a big sell, which scares other people or other bots, and then it just domino down. And it happened to every single coin that I've seen. Not just the ones that were created, but every single Solana token when it first launches is some bullshit like that. Because people are greedy, and they're going to do what they want to do and what's best for them, regardless if it impacts you, hurts you, steps on you to get to where they need to, doesn't matter. Ron says, now there's nothing left to fight for because we won. Bitcoin is in the system. And so all that energy, that passion, that power on Twitter, on Reddit, TV, it's gone. He added. I mean, he ain't wrong, but I don't 100% agree. I mean, there's still big proponents of Bitcoin out there, advocates of Bitcoin out there. I think Bitcoin will have its time to shine. But it doesn't belong to one person or one entity or one individual. And unfortunately, when Trump was running for office, He basically put it on his back and made Bitcoin and him unanimous with one another. And that's the problem. He wanted the votes, I understand, but Bitcoin is not Trump and Trump is not Bitcoin. But because people saw that and they associated Trump with Bitcoin, they ran to gold. Now, we've been talking about the quantum threat to Bitcoin and why you should update your addresses and not be using some legacy Bitcoin addresses. Actually, notice SegWit, native SegWit. Can't remember every single one for some reason. No, that's not what I want. Help me remember, Retro. Yeah, native SegWit. Yeah, Betch 32, nested SegWit, Lightning Network, Taproot. Yeah, native SegWit's more modern. SegWit is legacy. But if you have legacy, if you have a wallet that starts with a 1, you're on a legacy wallet. I would recommend moving your Bitcoin away from that address as we go in towards the quantum era. If you have nested SegWit, starts with a 3, you should be okay, but I would have multiple of that. I would have like a nested SegWit, a native SegWit, and not have everything in one wallet in case, you know, especially if you're an OG holder. If you're an OG cryptocurrency holder and you've been in Bitcoin since early days, right? Anything before 2014, you need to move funds off those legacy wallets. That's going to cause some concern, especially if you're a big guy. I understand. But it's none of anybody's business. As long as you haven't shared or had anything that links you to that address or to the new address that you're going to move to, it shouldn't fucking matter. But in case, you know, my biggest concern is, you know, state-sponsored quantum attacks. That's my biggest concern. Okay? So, of course, quantum threat to Bitcoin is a conversation at an Ethereum conference. Of course, because they want people to come to Ethereum. Of course. Stir some pot. Well, not that kind of pot. Scroll. But, you know, stir the pot. Get some people concerned. Get some people thinking. They start to move to Ethereum. But the threat isn't just to Bitcoin. It's to Ethereum too. So we got to see how things go. There's EIPs that they're going to have to do. There's BIPs that we're going to have to do for Bitcoin. According to Hunter Beast, co-author of BIP 360, a proposal that aims to solve the blockchain's quantum conundrum, confusion often starts with Bitcoin hashing algorithm. Hashing algorithms like SHA-256 are actually believed to be very difficult for even the most ideal, biggest quantum computer we can imagine. B said, we theorized that we would need a quantum computer bigger than the moon to break 256-bit hash-based cryptography using Grover's algorithm. That's not really what we're worried about in the next 5 years. B said, what we're worried about in the next 5 years are signatures. And that goes over with Shor's algorithm. Peter Shor. Shor's algorithm targets the mathematics behind public key cryptography, right? And some public keys are already out there, and people are just trying to put it together, right? Some information is already out there. They're trying to put it together, try it, see if they gain access to a legacy wallet. But yeah, Bitcoin relies on elliptical curve, something that you heard Yeti talk about many times. Cryptography for digital signatures, and Shor's algorithm can reverse engineer private keys from public keys if a quantum computer is powerful enough. So that's why I said state sponsored. So Bitcoin Ether rise as altcoins lagged and low volatility trade. So we didn't see much from the altcoins during this recent situation with the Supreme Court ruling and all that other shit. We didn't see much. So, but the derivatives show stabilization with open interest at 15.38 billion and funding positive. So derivative markets a little bit. Are you guys, by the way, we talked about it last week. Are you guys, I'll probably do a dedicated video on this. Are you playing around with predictive markets? Is anybody playing around with predictive markets? I hate those things, but like, for example, if we go to Coinbase, we could see, you know, Bitcoin is going to be above 68,500 on today's date by 5 p.m. Yes or no? And, you know, turn $3.40 into $4. Or maybe more than that. Are you guys playing around with that crap? I really don't like that stuff. Everything is turning into gambling, unfortunately. But I'm curious to know if you are. We talked about that last week's show. Volatility has waned since the sell-off on February 5th. 2 subsequent weeks consolidation have left investors wondering whether this is the calm before the storm, before another storm, and move to the downside, or whether the market has established macro low before rising back towards the 2025 levels. World Liberty Financial, Mar-a-Lago's forum on Wednesday, failed to provide a bullish catalyst despite being attended by the CFTC chairman Michael Siegel and executives from companies including Goldman Sachs. From a macro perspective, Bitcoin remains in a downtrend since hitting a record of 126K in October, and it has notched a series of lower highs and lower lows, with periods of choppy consolidation in between each major move. Open interest at 15.38 billion. The market transitioned from leverage cleanup to a steady floor. We're dropping sideways. We're stabilizing. Retail sentiment has had a subtle rebound, with funding rates flipping flat to positive. Binance about 4%, while institutional conviction remains anchored with 3-month annualized basis persisting at 3%. The Bitcoin options market had reached 50-50 volume equilibrium between calls and puts at shorts and longs, while the 1-week 25 delta skew has edged up 12%. The implied volatility term structure remains in short-term backwardation. So yeah, let's look at coin market cap real quick. I'm going to see, so overall, yeah, so the market cap of crypto as a whole is about 2.34 trillion. And you can see we've kind of been chilling there, right? Ever since we officially fell, right, early February, got all the way down to almost, like 2 trillion flat almost, so maybe 2.05 trillion. But ever since the 6th, we've kind of been stabilized around 2.3, you know, and that's for all of crypto. And if we look at the year, you know, down significantly from our October highs of 4.28 trillion, we need that influx, that market cap into crypto in order to see some significant gains from Bitcoin or whatever your favorite altcoin is. So we'll see. Bitcoin is up on the 24-hour, but are we hitting that line again? Yeah, we already hit that line and we fell back again right here. So it's going to take something significant. Maybe we might do the same thing tomorrow. Trade between where we are now and that line and pull back or push up. Let's see. Altcoins outperform Bitcoin after Supreme Court tariffs ruling. Altcoin season starting? No, it's not. Okay, it's not. News articles these days are just getting you to click on them. Alt season is not here and never officially started this cycle, unfortunately. You know, you know, they would say October, November, like during the election time, you know, from November to early January, we had an alt season, right? But I don't think it didn't really come to fruition. It didn't really take off like it has in the past. So I think people are just done with, everybody just keeps moving to a new trend, right? It's been about crypto and Bitcoin and Ethereum and a number of other altcoins for the longest time. Now it's all about AI. That's starting to fizzle out, the hype. Everybody just keeps flip-flopping trends. So, I don't know. Did you take profits when Bitcoin was at its all-time high, when the crypto market was at its all-time high at the end of 2025? Did you take profits, lock it in, and moved on to something else? I'd be interested to know. Don't state what you did. I would just be interested to know. The altcoins got a liquidity crunch. 83% of crypto tokens slip into bear trend. Yeah, that we already knew that. But I guess here's a pretty chart for you to look at. Altcoins performance on Binance. Altcoins below 50% weekly EMA. And then Bitcoin's price in white. Altcoins are down. People are not. There's some altcoins, like if we go to CoinMarketCap again, there's some altcoins that are like having a nice little run. If we go to the trending section, let's see here, 24 hours. Binance Smart Chain, Solana. Right, these new tokens pop up. I think in Kimichi, let's see here, it's down 84% over the past hour. But yeah, look, it's just a copycat token, right? Yeah, see, it's not verified by CoinMarketCap, and I bet you this is not even the real one. Let's go back. New token pops up, right? Pumped out fund, or somebody makes it themselves, whatever. They add the liquidity. It pumps, and then they rip the liquidity out, or they're able to freeze your wallet. I talk about all this in my Solana videos if you're interested, but like, it's just shitcoin shitters, just a bunch of crap. That's all it is. And those might be doing good over the past 24 hours, but they're not going to be around long term, which is why I consistently argue or urge you, the end user, to go to the OGs, right? Your Solanas, your Ethereum Classics, your Raven coins, Firo, what it's like, Conceal Network. Like, go to tokens that have been around and that you heard from the team, and that the team's constantly updating or making progress or whatever it is. I know those are proof of work tokens. Like, if you want like a token that's not proof of work, BNB's not bad. Zcash is down significantly, but like BNB from its all-time high, which was again last year around October of $1,200, it's only half that. Like, it's hopefully it sustains, but it's come a long way from 11 cents or 1 cent. So, like, accumulating assets, especially what I would call network tokens, as I said in the past, might prove beneficial. That's not financial advice. I'm just like, I stacked network tokens, right? Your Ethereums, your Solanas, your Trons, your Cardanos, your Chainlinks. Which Chainlink, you suck. You suck. You're killing me, bro. I love your oracles, but you're killing me on the price action. Never gonna get back to $48, are we? I wouldn't touch this with a 20-foot pole, but some people apparently are. Yep. Same shit, different day, guys. Nothing to write home about. Next week, I'm probably gonna, if I do a live stream, it won't be long. I'll be just giving you guys an update. I don't know if Red Panda Mining is going live. Is Red Panda Mining going live today? Because I tried to add the redirect, but it didn't show up. GPU mining is dead. You know how many times I heard that? Is he just saying that multiple times to just get people to click? Like, what's going on? Okay, he's not going live, I guess. Let's see. GPU mining is dead. See how many videos there are about that. GPU mining is truly dead. GPU mining is dead. But is GPU mining dead? Everyone can't GPU mining. GPU mining is dead. Crypto mining is getting rough. GPU mining has really died. Damn, Panda. You think you did enough? GPU mining is dead? Is that like the best topic to talk about? Jeez. But yeah, same shit, different day, guys. I really don't have much to add to that. And then this article from Business Insider is talking about how to find and buy altcoins for the next bull run. I don't like articles like this because they kind of lead people astray. As you know, they say here, it's worth considering altcoins as a group as separate from Bitcoins, which often has its own market dynamics. And this guide will examine altcoins in detail, why altcoins surge during a bull run. While there's no guarantee that the altcoins will surge during a bull market, this can be a natural effect of market conditions. Talks about the COVID era, talks about trends, talk about whatever. How to find promising altcoins. If you want to find promising altcoins before a bull run potentially causes their prices to soar, consider the following options. Research tools and platforms. Crypto Rank, DEX tools, CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko. We talked about that. Bird Eye, stuff like that. On-chain fundamentals analysis, right? Looking at the on-chain data, information, evaluating the developer, checking their GitHub. This is all stuff that we talked about on the channel before. Pre-sales and early investment opportunities. That can also be a catch-22, so be careful with that. But if you get involved early, and it does well, Coin Sniper, Pink Sale to find these new altcoins, right? They'll help you find these new altcoins they're about to release, as well as DeFi apps like Best Wallet that have integrated crypto launch pads where you can both discover and buy new altcoin pre-sales from the same app. However, be careful because buying during these pre-sales early, while it can be an early investment opportunity, investment carries huge risk. These early ones can particularly be risky given the lack of track record. Watch out for scams and fake pre-sales because there's a lot of them. Rug pulls where developers abandon the project after taking your money. Always review developers' histories as available, and if it's available. If it's not available, I'd be concerned. Additionally, there's some developers that's been out there for quite a while that have done multiple rug pulls, and people continue to flock to them. I don't know why. See where they are, as far as like on sexes, on centralized exchanges. They're more regulated, but usually by the time they hit a centralized exchange, you missed any significant gains you could have obtained. Checking dexes, storing your altcoins in a secure wallet. A lot of them, especially new tokens, are not available to be stored directly on hardware wallets unless they're on a notable network, Ethereum, Binance, SmartScan, or Smart Chain, Tron, whatever it might be. But if it's a new coin with its own network, there won't be any hardware support until they grow to a certain extent, but we'll see. Checking its volatility, liquidity, concentration, fear of missing out. Don't be one of those people. And yeah, I mean, this article, it's got some good points. I just would urge caution, period, about everything. But yeah, since our live stream, Bitcoin's fallen about $80. Ethereum still, under 2K. Much of the altcoins like ADA, Doge, Zcash are red. Is anybody still into Pepe? How's Pepe doing? I ask a lot of questions during the live streams. I usually try not to, but sorry if I pushed you away with some of my Trump talk, but it's kind of annoying after a while. Let's see here. Oh. 2024, and ever since, it's just been on a downtrend. Huh. I wonder if anybody's still hanging on to their Pepe. I mean, the 24-hour volume is, 15, almost 1,600 BTC. That's not bad. But, yeah, no red panda mining going live, I guess. And that's going to do it for today's show. I thank you so much for hanging out with us and stopping by. Thanks this. Oh, he's PvPing. Yeah. All right then. Any questions, comments, concerns, complaints? Are you gonna sell your Pepe Rude? Like it's down significantly. I don't, but they are fun to watch. I don't know. Is do you guys see something I don't? Because I can't find them. Let's see here. Who else? Anybody going live? Let's see. Who's live? Want to watch some racing? I'll send you over to racing. Crypto Archie, 929 watching. Yeah, we could go. We could go give him some love. Yeah, let's send you guys over to. Well, I don't know. He might not let me. He might not let me redirect you guys over to him. It just depends on the channel. Let's see here. Can I not edit? Stream view, stream settings. Edit. Customization. Redirect. Yeah, I can't. I can't redirect him. Okay. Well, fuck it. Another day, another dollar. Save your money, stack your sats, continue hashing away. Good luck to all of you. Set up your own nodes. Retro Mike's got a lot of good guides on nodes if you're interested in that. And no Red Panda mining. Rabbit mining will be on around 1. I'm going to go get some stuff done. You take care of yourselves, all right? Do me a favor on the way out, though. Hit that like button. Consider getting subscribed, hit the notification bell to stay up to date, as well as check out additional links in the description to help support the channel and what we do here. I'm going to watch some more Humble Mechanic and Bearded Mechanic and do some stuff and just continue living life and enjoying it. Hopefully get this congestion out of here. But you all take care. I'll catch you later, okay? Much love. Peace out.